Yo, what's up? This is a back-to-back video. If you just got done watching the last one and then you see this one, it's going to be like sequential, like that. But anyway, yeah, NHL playoffs. I don't even feel like talking about the playoffs right now, but I'm going to do it anyway. Talk about them anyway. I've got one big thought on my mind right now, really, as far as the playoffs go. And I guess I'll just talk about, like, this is just how I feel about the playoffs right now. I kind of feel like, and that's gonna change because that's what happens. The playoffs are like this. They're all over the place, you know. Lots of crazy stuff. But anyway, I gotta stop coming up soon, so I'm gonna get to the point with these videos. You know, I'm torn between LA and Edmonton because I like them both, and I got a friend of mine who's a big Oilers fan because he's from Edmonton. Of course, how can you not be an Oilers fan, right? I gave him a Caps jersey though. Woohoo! Holding it down, yeah. Anyway, I wanted the Oilers to win, and I still do, but I'm a fan of hockey, so I think that's my blanket statement I'll say. But basically what I'm saying is I like the Kings. I like them. I think they're cool. I think they're awesome. I haven't watched a lot of them. I haven't watched much Kings hockey at all, really, in like the past few years, honestly. But I really fell out of touch with them when they won it seemed like yesterday they won their Stanley Cups in 2012 and 2014. But it wasn't just yesterday. It was, in a way, but it also isn't. It's 2024. That's 10 years ago. What the heck? Anyway, I like the team. I like them. I saw a sequence where Connor McDavid came over to the Kings and was chirping him or something. Got up in the dude's face, and the guy like pushed him, and then he like pushed him into another king, and the other king was Anze Kopitar, and so Anze Kopitar pushed him out of the way too. And then the third king that he bumped into pushed him too, and it was just like, and Kopitar, I loved it. I noticed this because Kopitar looked at that third king, was like, "Hey man, you can't go too far, buddy." He looked at him like, he didn't have to say anything. He just looked at him. He's just like, because he wanted to let him know that you can't go too far in the playoffs because you don't want to take an unnecessary penalty. That's what veterans do. They teach things like that. Lessons, messages. So great. But anyway, I love Connor McDavid, but, man, he's a little, I'm not going to like saying this, he's a little spoiled. And I'll tell you why I think that. Because he's such an elite player. And because he's such a, and I'm not supposed to say and because he's such an elite player, he doesn't necessarily have to deal with a lot of the other stuff that other players have to do. Other players have to fight for every inch of the ice all the time, right? And I mean, not to say that he doesn't, because he definitely does, but it's a little different for him because he's got such skill, and his skill puts him in positions where he doesn't have to deal with stuff. That's my point. And so I think that when it comes to the playoff, it's a different beast, because playoffs are where skill goes to die. I mean, what I'm saying is, if you think you're going to win in the playoffs because of your skill, that's hilarious, because that's not how it works. You don't win in the playoffs because of your skill. You just don't. That's not how it works. You got to have grit and determination. So it's interesting to see what Connor McDavid and company are made of. And I don't think they got anything to worry about. I think they're made of good stuff. I'll tell you what, but the Kings have got a couple players on there that are like, they know what they need to be made of because they've been there. They won the cup a couple times, of course. Doughty and Kopitar. It's crazy that that's all that's left of that team anymore, really, from what I know. But anyway, yeah, you know, so the Kings beat the Oilers, and I'm like, you know what? It's going to be one of them series, man. It's going to be one of those series. So we're going to see. I don't really feel like talking about anyone else But I'll talk about this because I need to get it out of the way. I'm annoyed, and I need to just get it out of the way because I don't want it floating around. I want to kill it now and speak on it. So basically, the Maple Leafs and the Bruins. Dude, I'm not going to like to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. The NHL reffing right now is ridiculous. And this is the bigger subject, is the reffing. Okay, you can say what you want. And if you're a Bruins fan, I know you're probably going to say whatever. But I don't know, maybe not, but who knows. This is what I've noticed. And of course, this is not new news. It's just, it becomes a bigger deal this time of year, because it is a bigger deal this time of year, because the way games go, teams win and lose based off of things, little things. And I'm not saying, and yes, teams win and or lose because of the refs. I'll make that blanket statement, and I'll say more about it, because it's a trap. If you blame the refs, well, actually, it's not good to blame the refs for losing. It's not good to blame the refs, but the way the refs have been reffing these games lately, and I know this is what they're trying to do, and I disagree with their philosophy entirely. I disagree with their ideology, because that's what it is. It's an ideology. And I'll tell you what that ideology is. They say, we can't let this game get out of hand. Wait a minute. Don't you realize what that implies? That implies that the refs control the game. And now I get it, as far as you don't want just chaos, bedlam, and violence to break out, and you don't want the refs don't want to lose control of the game. But it's such a frustrating dynamic, because I don't think the refs should be in control of the game. I think the teams should be in charge and control of the game. Because if you're playing and you want to win, then you have to play to win. And that's what it takes. It takes a lot to win, and you got to be willing to pay the price. You got to be willing to do whatever to win. Now, if you break the rules and you take a penalty, if you do something, if you take a penalty, then you should get called for a penalty. But in the playoffs, it's a little different, and the refs should let certain things go that they don't usually let go. They call a tight game during the regular season, and then they get stupid in the playoffs. No offense to the refs. I'm sorry. I don't mean disrespect to you guys, but I'm just really frustrated, because I noticed a trend, and it's nothing new. This is definitely the case. And I hate the philosophy of, if you give a penalty to one team, you got to give a penalty to the other team. No, you don't. And I don't like that. Why do the refs think that they have to make it balanced? Why? The teams take penalties. The refs don't give. That's the way it's supposed to be. If you get a penalty, it should be your fault. It shouldn't be the ref's fault. And if it's the ref's fault you're getting a penalty, that's a bad penalty. Shouldn't have been a penalty. Period. Plain and simple. No matter what it is. If it's the ref's fault, then it's a bad call. It's so ridiculous. And I know that the refs have a tough job, because they're in there and the game is so fast and everything. It's so fast, right? It is so fast. And it's hard to make these calls, and we're seeing from a bird's eye perspective, watching as spectators, but I'm you know what? If a team takes 4 penalties in a row, maybe that team deserved those 4 penalties. Does that mean the other team should get a penalty? No. Why would it? If that team takes a penalty, should they get a penalty? Yes, absolutely. So why do we feel like we need to control the game through who gets what penalty? That is what it blows my mind. because the refs ultimately end up controlling the series to an extent because they're trying to be fair. Well, let me ask you a question. How fair is it to control a game? How fair is it to not let the players play? And I'm not saying don't call penalties. I'm saying, why do you feel like you need to make up calls? Oh, we missed a call, so we don't. No, you missed a call, you missed a call. Continue to call it straight. Don't weeble wobble. Well, we didn't do it this way, so we got to do it this way now. No, forget that. You didn't do things right, so do things right. Don't make up for it. You can't make up for it. You already made a mistake. Let the mistake go. Do things right. Learn from your mistakes. It's very simple. But instead, it's like, well, you know, we got to do this. We got to even out the penalties here. We got to do this. We got to make it even, you know. It's like, no, you don't. It's ridiculous. It's like, because, and you know, I'll tell you what it is. They're afraid. There's a lot of politics here. They're afraid of the fans. They're afraid of the backlash they're going to get. They're afraid from the backlash they're going to get from the players, the coaches, the league, the news, the whatever. They're afraid of that backlash. And you know what? If I was a ref, dude, I'd be a great ref. I'd say, you know what? You're getting a penalty. Period. That's it. You know? I see something else happen that's like, it's like, be like, let it go. I'd be like, it's not a big deal. That's not a I'm like, it's not a penalty. That's not a penalty right now. It's not like, and it depends. It really depends. There's the situations change, right? There's situations where it's like, hey, if it's a penalty, it's a penalty. And then the question comes up anymore. What is a penalty, right? What is a penalty? That's where we get sometimes. That's where we've been there for years. And no offense to the reffing in general over the years, because I think in general it's been pretty good. But in these highly political games like Toronto versus Boston, there's so many calls where it's like that. And it's just like, oh my gosh, it's sickening. And there's that. And you know what else I think? I think that there should be a new rule. I'm proposing a new rule, and you know, I don't like to just not randomly proposing it, but because I'm going to address something, okay? Because there's something that needs to be addressed here. As far as this is connected with the reffing, but this is connected to things that happen in the game, and this has everything to do with injustice. And I'll tell you what injustice is. And you know what, guys? You can come at me all day long. I'm a Capitals fan. You can come at me all day long. Tom Wilson this, Tom Wilson that, whatever. I don't care. What I'm going to say is this. There was a hit to the head by Artemi Panarin against TJ Oshie in Game 2. And it wasn't called a penalty. Are you kidding me? It wasn't called a penalty. And not only was it not called a penalty, the Caps got a penalty? Are you kidding me? So the rule I'm proposing is there should be the coaches should have challenges they can use. They should have 2 coaches challenges. The coaches challenge that already exists, and the coaches challenge that challenges, I guess maybe you only need one type of coach's challenge, but maybe you give them 2. That might open things up a little bit. But you know, this is the problem, okay? If you review the play and you look at it again, is it a penalty? You daggone right it's a penalty. Now, it wasn't called a penalty, okay? So, but you know what that does? You know what that does to teams? That messes with teams bad. When you see somebody get headshotted, especially in this day and age where everyone's trying to fight and you know, the league is trying to take out headshots out of the game. You know, Tom Wilson gets 20 game suspension for this, 20, whatever. These people we're suspending all these players for headshots. And then yet someone takes a blatant headshot and it's not even a penalty. It's not even a penalty, not even a minor penalty, nothing. You're just going to let that fly? That's fine? Like, that's not okay, man. So yeah, I'm talking to you refs, I'm talking to you league, NHL. This is ridiculous right now, you know? I mean, look at the play. Look at it. Just look at it again. Look at it again and ask yourselves. Because I'll tell you what the deal is. You guys don't care. Because if you cared, you'd do something about it. And if it was in a Boston-Toronto game, you'd be all over it, because how could you not? You have too many people to answer to. But because it's the Capitals and Rangers, you don't care, because it's the Capitals. It's like, yeah, well, we don't care about them. They're not supposed to be in the playoffs anyway. Yeah, you kidding me? Like, it's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. So, and the fact that, couldn't have happened to a better guy, and I'm sorry, but it's ridiculous. I'm not. Just look at the play. Look at it. Just look at it and tell me why wasn't there a penalty? Why? So anyway, trying to think. I'm trying not to think about the reffing for Game 3. I'm trying not to think about it, because I'll tell you what, it's ridiculous. If I thought about it anymore, I'd be like, bro, I'm so freaking mad. I hope the Caps, for our own sakes, I hope we just come out and play. Come out and play. Play hard and do whatever it takes to win, because you're not just fighting the Rangers. Sometimes you're fighting the refs, and that's true. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys.